What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to the channel. So this morning we got our first official look at the sequel season to Haunting of Hill House. This season is called The Haunting of Bly Manor. Today we're going to take a look at some of these pictures, talk about what we know about the season so far, and when we believe the release date is going to be. So let's get right into it and show off some of these awesome photos we got from the official Twitter page of The Haunting of Bly Manor. Mike Flanagan returning as the executive producer and adapting the Henry James psychological horror novella called The Turn of the Screw. Now, if you're a hardcore horror fan, you know that there have been multiple adaptations of this story over the years, but one thing that we got revealed this morning is something even more interesting, and that's the fact that it's not only the turn of the screw, but it turns out that Mike Flanagan will be using multiple Henry James horror stories within this season. Flanagan says, "The thing I have access to that no other adaptation of The Turn of the Screw has is the rest of his ghost stories. I get to use all of them," meaning that they are not only telling one story here, they're going to be telling many stories within what we are getting for the future of, I guess it's the Haunting of series. Regardless, Bly Manor, if we're looking at this poster right here, looks incredible. The first season was one of the best horror seasons of television we have ever got. Now, if you notice as well, as we look through this poster, you can see deep within the ripples of the waves, the cast just slightly showing up, which I think is awesome. But you also notice that this is a very familiar cast. Most of the returning cast from season 1, even though in this season they're playing completely different characters. So no, our characters from season 1 are not returning, but our actors and actresses for the most part are, which I find extremely interesting. Flanagan says all of these stories are thematically linked. I think The Turn of the Screw is kind of the backbone of the season, the through line that carries us from beginning to end, but we really go off into stories like The Jolly Corner and The Romance of Certain Old Clothes and so many other crazy, wonderful ghost stories that people haven't seen adapted before. So this season is going to be a mixture of different kinds and types of horror, which I find extremely interesting. And obviously, with these returning cast members like Oliver Jackson Cohen, Kate Siegel, Henry Thomas, there are newcomers such as Amelia Eve, Benjamin Ainsworth, and Amelie Smith. In terms of the individual directors for this season, we have very familiar Netflix names in Yolanda Ramke and Ben Howling. A name like Axel Carolyn, who's directed Tales of Halloween and Grim Grinning Ghosts. So a lot of recognizable horror names both in the cast and the directors. And of course, Mike Flanagan, a.k.a. Dr. Sleep, Gerald's Game, the first season. Just one of my favorite horror, I would say, connoisseurs in Hollywood right now. The man knows how to bring out a jump scare, but he knows how to do it effectively. And I do believe season 2 of The Haunting of Hill House, even though a completely different story with completely different characters, is going to kind of reign true to what we saw in season 1 and hopefully bring in new aspects and new dynamics that we didn't see in the first season. So my question for you all is, are you excited for season 2? How do you feel about these photos? If you like these Haunting of Hill House updates, I would love to do more. This is one of my favorite series on television. Just drop me a thumbs up down below. That tells me you guys want to see more. And again, I'd love to start a discussion down below, start a conversation. I appreciate you guys for watching this quick Netflix news update. Stay tuned for so many more things to come this week, including some very early movie and TV reviews for streaming platforms. You guys are the best. Appreciate you for watching. I'll see you soon.